Have you ever been addicted to something like that? For me, it's a cup of strong coffee and a cigar. For many girls, it might be a cup of Coke and a grilled chicken leg from KFC. So, is it easy to quit? Oh, I don't think so. Just like the way I express these stories, maybe the language makes you dislike it, but my friend, it's my habit of talking and there's no other meaning. So please ignore it and focus on the story for me. It's taken 30 seconds of your time. Let's start today's hot story. The spotlight burned hot on Talia Jackson's skin, her sequined dress catching every glint like she was a damn disco ball. She stood on the gala stage, heart hammering, eyes locked on Cade Morgan in the crowd below. His grin was all cocky charm, but those hazel eyes held something softer, something that made her knees weak. The crowd cheered, cameras flashed, and for a split second, she forgot the chaos that had brought them here. Then the memory hit his lips crashing into hers, the clatter of broken glass, her fist connecting with his chest. How the hell did they get from that to this? Rewind. Talia was sweating her ass off in the tight black server's uniform at Sizzle and Spice, Atlanta's hottest upscale joint. The place reeked of money mahogany tables, crystal chandeliers, and plates of overpriced steak that cost more than her weekly grocery budget. The air was thick with the sizzle of ribeyes, the tang of bourbon, and the low hum of jazz from a live band in the corner. Her feet screamed in the cheap heels she'd bought on clearance, and she was 2 seconds from cursing out the next customer who snapped their fingers at her like she was a dog. Yo, Talia, table 6 needs more wine. Ronnie, her boss, barked from behind the bar, his gray mustache twitching like it had a life of its own. He was a grumpy old bastard, but he slipped her extra tips when she worked doubles, so she let his attitude slide. On it, Ronnie, she muttered, grabbing a bottle of some fancy-ass Cabernet. Her braids were starting to frizz under the heat of the packed dining room, and she could feel a bead of sweat trickling down her back. Just get through this shift, girl. Rent's due, and Mama's meds ain't cheap. She weaved through the crowd, dodging a drunk dude in a suit who nearly knocked her tray over. Table 6 was a VIP party, some big shot's birthday, judging by the bottles of Hennessy and the obnoxious laughter. She plastered on her fake-ass customer service smile and started pouring, ignoring the way one guy's eyes lingered on her curves a little too long. Keep it moving, creep. That's when she saw him. Cade C.J. Morgan, Atlanta's resident playboy millionaire, sprawled in a leather booth like he owned the damn place. Which, to be fair, he kinda did. His chain of bars was the talk of the city. He was all sharp jawline, tousled dark hair, and a tailored blazer that screamed, "I'm rich, bitches." A half-empty whiskey glass dangled in his hand, and his tie was loose, like he'd given up on looking respectable hours ago. His boys, Darius, a slick lawyer with a Rolex, and a couple other trust fund types were egging him on as he rambled some loud, slurred story about a yacht party in Miami. Talia rolled her eyes. Another night, another rich asshole making my life harder. She'd heard the rumors about Cade, parties till dawn, a new model on his arm every week, and a penthouse that looked like a rap video set. Not her type. She had enough problems, sure, Mama's diabetes, her 7-year-old son Jamal's school fees, and her own dream of opening a bakery that felt further away every damn day. She turned to head back to the bar when Cade's voice boomed over the music. "Yo, hold up. I'm making a toast." He climbed onto the table, wobbling like a newborn giraffe, whiskey splashing onto the floor. The room went quiet, all eyes on him. Talia froze, tray in hand, praying he wouldn't do something stupid. "To the hottest chick in this room." Cade raised his glass, scanning the crowd with a drunken grin. His gaze landed on Talia, and her stomach dropped. "Oh, hell no. You, yeah, you. I'm gonna marry you, girl." The room erupted in cheers and laughter. Talia's face burned, her fake smile replaced by a glare that could melt steel. "Motherfucker, what?" she hissed under her breath, but before she could bolt, Cade jumped off the table and staggered toward her. He was fast for a drunk guy, too fast. In one sloppy move, he grabbed her waist, pulled her close, and planted a wet, whiskey-soaked kiss right on her lips. Time stopped. The world shrank to the heat of his mouth, the scratch of his stubble, and the faint cedarwood cologne clinging to his skin. For half a second, her body betrayed her, tingling like she'd been shocked. Then reality slammed back. She shoved him hard, her tray crashing to the floor in a symphony of shattered glass. "What the fuck is wrong with you?" she yelled, swinging a fist at his chest. He stumbled back, tripped over a chair, and landed ass first in a pile of broken martini glasses. The room exploded, some folks laughing, others gasping, phones already out recording the whole damn mess. Talia stood there, chest heaving, cocktail sauce splattered on her uniform, her braids swinging as she pointed at Cade. "You drunk-ass rich boy piece of shit, touch me again and I'll knock your teeth out." Cade blinked up at her from the floor, looking like a kicked puppy. "Shit, I didn't meandum. You're hella fine, though." His boys roared with laughter, but Darius was already pulling him up, muttering, "Bro, you fucked up." Ronnie stormed over, face red as a tomato. "Talia, what the hell? You trying to get us sued? Get this idiot out of here before I fire your ass." "Fire me," Talia snapped, hands on hips. "This dumbass kissed me. I'm the victim here." "Victim, my ass," Ronnie growled. "Handle it, or you're done." Talia wanted to scream, but she bit her tongue. She needed this job, Jamal's new sneakers, Mama's insulin, the electric bill that was already 2 weeks late. She grabbed Cade's arm, ignoring the way his bicep flexed under her grip, and dragged him toward the back hallway. His boys followed, still snickering, but she shot them a look that shut them up quick. In the dim hallway, with the smell of dish soap and stale beer hanging in the air, she shoved Cade against the wall. "You got 5 seconds to explain before I call the cops, asshole." And Cade raised his hands, still wobbly but sobering up fast. "Yo, I'm sorry, 8. I'm drunk as fuck. Saw you. Thought you were. I don't know. An angel or some shit. My bad." "An angel?" Talia scoffed, crossing her arms. "You think that corny-ass line's gonna fix this? I got cocktail sauce in my damn hair, and my boss is ready to can me." He ran a hand through his hair, looking genuinely guilty. "Look, I'll talk to your boss. I'll pay for the damage. Just don't hate me, okay? You're too pretty to hate me." Talia stared, torn between wanting to slap him again and laughing at his audacity. "You're a hot mess, you know that." "Guilty," he said, flashing a grin that was way too charming for her liking. "Let me make it up to you dinner tomorrow. Anywhere you want." "Hell no," she shot back. "I don't date clowns who kiss strangers." "Come on, I'm not that bad," he said, leaning closer. His breath was warm, and damn if he didn't smell good, even after all that whiskey. "Gimme one chance, Talia." She froze. "How you know my name?" He pointed at her name tag, smirking. "I'm drunk, not blind." She rolled her eyes, but felt a tiny spark of amusement. "Don't you dare like this fool, Talia. Go home, rich boy, and stay out of my face." Before he could reply, Darius poked his head in. "CJ, let's bounce before this chick sues you. And you," he said, eyeing Talia, "watch yourself. Don't think you can play my boy." "Play him?" Talia stepped up, voice low and dangerous. "Tell your boy to keep his lips to himself, or I'll play him into next week." Darius backed off, hands up. Cade chuckled, muttering, "Damn, I like her." Talia shot him one last glare and stormed back to the dining room, ignoring the stares and whispers from the crowd. The next night, Talia was back at Sizzle and Spice, scrubbing tables and praying Ronnie wouldn't bring up yesterday's disaster. Her phone buzzed with a text from Nia, her best friend and the loudest DJ in Atlanta. "Girl, that video of you decking that rich dude is at 50K views. You famous." Talia groaned, shoving her phone in her pocket. The last thing she needed was her face all over the internet. She was wiping down a booth when the door chimed, and in walked Cade Morgan, looking like he'd stepped out of a GQ shoot. No drunken stagger this time, just a crisp white shirt, dark jeans, and a massive bouquet of roses that probably cost more than her rent. "Oh, hell no," she muttered, ducking behind the bar. But Ronnie spotted her, growling, "Talia, deal with your boyfriend before he scares off my customers." "He ain't my boyfriend," she hissed, but she straightened up and marched over, arms crossed. "What you want, Cade? I told you to stay away. He held out the roses, looking sheepish. I fucked up last night. Big time. These are for you. And this. He pulled out a check, sliding it across the table. 5 grand, made out to sizzle and spice. For the glasses I broke, and to keep your boss off your ass. Talia stared at the check, her jaw tight. Part of her wanted to take it. 5 grand could cover Mama's meds for months. But her pride burned hotter. She grabbed the check, ripped it in half, and tossed it at his feet. I don't need your damn money, Cade. You think you can buy me off? Fuck out of here. The room went quiet again, a few customers whispering. Cade's face fell, but he didn't back down. I deserved that, but I'm not trying to buy you. I want to make it right. One dinner. You pick the spot. No strings. Talia laughed, sharp and bitter. You deaf? I said no. Go back to your models and your yachts, rich boy. Nia's voice cut through the tension, loud and obnoxious as she strutted in, her box braids swinging. Well, damn girl, you got this fine-ass man begging, and you out here playing hardball. She sized Cade up, grinning. Be cute, Talia. Kinda dumb, but cute. Nia, shut up. Talia snapped, but her lips twitched. Nia had a way of making everything feel lighter, even when she was being a pain in the ass. Cade seized the moment, turning to Nia. Yo, help me out. Tell her I'm not a total fuck-up. Nia cackled. Oh, you a fuck-up, all right. But you got potential. Talia, give him one shot. If he messes up, I'll kick his ass for you. Talia glared at her friend, then at Cade, who was watching her with those damn puppy dog eyes. She hated how part of her wanted to say yes, not because of his money, but because of that stupid spark in his gaze, like he saw her, not just some server in a tight uniform. Fine, she said finally, pointing a finger at him. One meeting, not a date, and if you pull any more drunk-ass stunts, I'm done. Got it? Got it, Cade said, his grin back in full force. You won't regret this, Talia. Already do, she muttered, turning away to hide the heat creeping up her cheeks. As she walked back to the bar, she heard Nia whisper to Cade, Good luck, rich boy. You're gonna need it. Talia didn't know why she'd agreed to meet Cade. Maybe it was Nia's nagging, or the way his eyes had softened when he apologized. Maybe she was just tired of saying no to everything good in her life. But as she clocked out, her heart was racing, and not just from the double shift. Cade Morgan was trouble big, expensive, whiskey-soaked trouble. And yet, there was something about him that made her want to take the risk, just this once. What the hell am I getting myself into? Yo, y'all feeling this drama? Talia's out here throwing punches and ripping checks, but will she give Cade a real shot? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and hit subscribe to catch the next part of this hot mess. Don't forget to turn on notifications, so you don't miss a single second of Talia and Cade's wild ride. See y'all in the next one. Talia Jackson stood in front of the cracked mirror in her tiny apartment bathroom, cursing under her breath. The red bodycon dress Nia had forced her to borrow hugged her curves like it was trying to start a fight, and the neckline plunged low enough to make her mama clutch her pearls. I look like I'm auditioning for a damn music video, she muttered, tugging at the hem. Her braids were swept into a high bun, and she'd even swiped on some lip gloss, which felt like a betrayal of her usual no-fucks-given vibe. Why the hell was she stressing over a not date with Cade Rich Boy Morgan? Girl, you look fine. Nia's voice boomed from the living room, where she was sprawled on the couch scrolling through her phone. That dress is screaming, Cade, you don't stand a chance. Shut up, Nia, Talia snapped, stomping out in her borrowed heels. This is your fault. I should be at home with Jamal, not playing dress-up for some millionaire asshole. Nia grinned, unfazed, her box braids swinging as she sat up. First, Jamal's fine with your mama. Second, you need to live a little, Talia. That man's out here begging for a shot after you tore his check up like a badass. Give him a chance to crash and burn. It'll be fun. Talia rolled her eyes, but couldn't hide a smirk. Nia had a point. Cade's guilty puppy dog face at Sizzle and Spice last night had been kinda cute, in a pathetic way. Still, she wasn't about to let some playboy think he could charm her with flowers and a fat wallet. She had bills, a kid, and a mama who needed her. No time for bullshit. Fine, she said, grabbing her purse. But if he tries any drunk kissing crap again, I'm decking him. That's my girl, Naya said, tossing her a wink. Now go break his heart. Soul Haven was the kind of place where Atlanta's cool kids and old school cats collided. The bar was tucked in a gritty corner of the city, with neon signs buzzing outside and a mural of Nina Simone glowing on the brick wall. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of bourbon, fried chicken wings, and the sweet tang of hookah smoke. Dim lights cast a warm glow over wooden tables, and the stage was alive with a sax player riffing over a thumping bass line. Talia felt the music in her chest as she stepped inside, her heels clicking on the sticky floor. She spotted Cade instantly, leaning against the bar with a whiskey in hand, looking like he'd walked out of a cologne ad. His white shirt was unbuttoned just enough to show a sliver of tan chest, and his dark jeans hugged his thighs in a way that made her mouth go dry. Damn him! He caught her eye and straightened up, his cocky grin fading into something softer, almost nervous. Yo, Talia, he called, waving her over. You made it. And, shit, you look good. She crossed her arms, ignoring the heat creeping up her neck. Don't get used to it, rich boy. This ain't for you. He chuckled, undeterred, and gestured to a high top table in the corner. Fair enough. Come on, let's talk. No kissing, I swear. She snorted but followed, weaving through the crowd of couples swaying to the music and groups shouting over their drinks. The table was tucked near a window, giving her a view of the street where cars rolled by under flickering streetlights. Cade pulled out her chair, which made her raise an eyebrow. What? You think you're smooth now? Tryna be, he said, sitting across from her. You make it hard, though. Good, she shot back, but there was a playful edge to her voice she couldn't quite hide. A server dropped off 2 drinks whiskey for him, a peach martini for her. She eyed it suspiciously. I didn't order this. I took a guess, Cade said, leaning back. Peach, right? It's an Atlanta thing. She took a sip, the sweet burn hitting her tongue. Lucky guess. Don't think this means I like you. Wouldn't dream of it, he said, his eyes twinkling with mischief. So, Talia Jackson, tell me something. What's your deal? Besides serving steaks and shutting down idiots like me. She laughed despite herself, the sound swallowed by the music. My deal? Work, bills, and keeping my kid from turning into a little monster. You wouldn't get it. Try me, he said, leaning forward. His gaze was intense, like he was actually listening, not just waiting for his turn to talk. She hesitated, then shrugged. Aight, I'm 29, stuck waiting tables 'cause life don't play fair. Got a 7-year-old, Jamal, who's smarter than me half the time. My mama's got diabetes, so I'm hustling to keep her meds paid. And I got dreams, but they're on hold. That's me. What about you, rich boy? What's your excuse for being a hot mess? Cade's grin faltered, and for a second she saw something raw in his eyes. Damn, you don't pull punches, huh? Aight, fair. I'm 33, made a shit ton of money with my bars, but I don't know. Grew up dirt poor, then my pops hit the lottery and ditched us. Been chasing something ever since, but I ain't found it. Hence the, hot mess shit. Talia studied him, surprised by the honesty. So you kiss random chicks to feel alive, real classy. He winced. Low blow. I was drunk, Talia, but maybe I saw you and thought, there's something real. You ain't like the girls I usually meet. Flattery's cheap, she said, but her heart skipped a beat. Don't fall for this, girl. Before he could reply, the music shifted, and Nia's voice crackled through the speakers. Yo, Soul Haven, it's your girl DJ Nia. Let's slow it down for the lovers out there. A sultry R&B track filled the room, and couples hit the dance floor, bodies swaying close. Cade stood holding out a hand. Dance with me. Hell no, Talia said, crossing her arms. I don't dance with clowns. Come on, one dance. No funny business. Let me prove I ain't all clown. She glared, but Nia caught her eye from the DJ booth and mouthed, Do it, girl. With a groan, Talia took his hand, ignoring the electric jolt when his fingers closed around hers. One dance, Cade. Fuck it up and I'm out. Deal, he said, leading her to the floor. The music wrapped around them like a warm blanket, the bass pulsing in time with her heartbeat. Cade pulled her close, one hand on her waist, the other holding her hand. He was a surprisingly good dancer, moving with a lazy confidence that made her feel like they were the only ones in the room. His cologne cedar and something spicy mixed with the heat of his body, and she hated how much she liked it. "You ain't bad at this," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "Told you I'm smooth," he said, his lips brushing her ear. "You're killing it, though. That dress? Damn. Watch it, rich boy," she warned, but she didn't pull away. Their bodies swayed, hips brushing, and for a moment she let herself forget the bills, the drama, the weight of her life. It was just her, Cade, and the music. Then he opened his big mouth. "You ever think about getting out of that restaurant? You're too good for it, Talia." She stiffened, the spell broken. "What? You think you know my life now? I don't need your pity." "Nah, it ain't pity," he said quickly. "I just see you. You're smart, tough, hella fine. You could be anything. Easy for you to say," she snapped, stepping back. "You don't know shit about struggling." He looked like he wanted to argue, but before he could, the song ended, and Nia's voice cut through. "Aight, lovers, let's heat it up." The tempo jumped, and the crowd cheered, breaking the tension. Talia pulled away, heart racing. "I need air," she muttered, heading for the bar. Cade followed, but she waved him off. "Gimme a sec, okay?" At the bar, she ordered a water, trying to shake the way his touch had lit her up. "He's just a player, Talia. Don't be stupid." She was sipping her drink when she overheard voices from a corner booth. Darius, Cade's lawyer friend, talking to another guy. "Bro, CJ's trippin'," Darius said, his voice low but clear. "This chick's just a server. She's playing him for his cash, watch. Bet she's got a sob story ready to milk him dry." The other guy laughed. "CJ's too dumb to see it. She's hot though, I'd hit it." Talia's blood boiled, her grip tightening on the glass. She turned, ready to cuss them out, but then she saw Cade heading toward the booth, oblivious. Her heart sank. Was this what his world was like? Rich boys betting on who could screw her over first. She didn't wait to find out. She grabbed her purse and bolted for the door, the humid Atlanta night hitting her like a wall. The street was alive with car horns and laughter, but all she could hear was Darius's words echoing in her head. "She's playing him for his cash. Fuck that. She wasn't anybody's gold digger." "Talia, wait." Cade's voice cut through the noise as he jogged after her, his shirt untucked from running. "What's wrong? You okay?" She spun around, eyes blazing. "You tell me, Cade. Your boy Darius thinks I'm some broke-ass bitch after your money. That what you think, too?" His face fell, confusion turning to anger. "What? Nah, that's bullshit. Darius don't speak for me." "Then why's he talking like that?" she shouted, stepping closer. "You think I'm here for your damn wallet? Go back to your fancy-ass world and leave me alone." "Talia, I don't think that," he said, voice desperate. "I like you, ain't, for real. Darius is just. He's protective, but he's wrong." "Protective?" She laughed, bitter and sharp. "Fuck him, and fuck you for letting him near me. I'm done." She turned, spotting a bus pulling up at the corner. Rain started to fall, a light drizzle that soaked her dress and blurred her vision. Cade grabbed her arm, gentle but firm. "Talia, please, give me a chance to fix this." She yanked free, tears mixing with the rain. "You can't fix this, Cade. Go home." She climbed onto the bus, the doors hissing shut behind her. Through the window she saw him standing there, soaked and defeated, his hands shoved in his pockets. Her chest ached, but she forced herself to look away. No more rich boys breaking your heart, Talia. Back at her apartment, Talia kicked off her heels and collapsed onto the couch, the dress sticking to her skin. The place was quiet. Jamal was asleep at her mama's place, and the only sound was the hum of the fridge and the distant rumble of thunder. She wanted to call Nia, but her phone was dead, and honestly, she didn't have the energy to explain why she'd run. Her eyes landed on a photo on the coffee table, her Jamal and Mama Marla at a park last summer, all smiles and ice cream stains. That was her real life, not some fairy tale dance with a millionaire. So why did her heart feel like it was cracking? A knock at the door startled her. She groaned, figuring it was Nia with a lecture. But when she opened it, there was no one, just a small box on the doorstep, wrapped in brown paper with her name scrawled in messy handwriting. Inside was a burnt-to-hell cornbread, crumbling like charcoal, and a note. Tried to make this for you. Failed epically. Give me a chance to do better, Cade. Talia stared at the note, her lips twitching despite herself. Dumbass, she muttered, but she couldn't stop the warmth spreading in her chest. She tossed the cornbread in the trash but slipped the note into her pocket, her mind racing. Was Cade Morgan worth the risk, or was he just another mistake waiting to happen? Damn, y'all, that got heated quick. Talia's out here running from Cade, but that burnt cornbread note? Who? Is he winning her over or what? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should she give him another shot, or is Darius right about her? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next part of this Atlanta drama. Catch y'all in the next one. Talia Jackson stared at the charred lump of cornbread in her trash can. The note from Cade still crumpled in her fist. Tried to make this for you. Failed epically. Give me a chance to do better. That damn fool had her smiling at 2 in the morning, and she hated it. Her apartment was dead quiet. Just the hum of the fridge and the occasional car horn outside. Jamal was still at her mama's place, and the silence gave her too much space to think about Cade's hazel eyes, his stupid grin, and the way he'd looked at her on that dance floor like she was the only thing that mattered. Fuck this, she muttered, tossing the note onto the coffee table. She wasn't some lovesick teenager. Cade Morgan was a walking red flag, rich, reckless, and probably playing her like every other girl he'd charmed into his bed. But that note, those words, they felt real, and real was dangerous. She flopped onto the couch, her borrowed red dress still clinging to her like a second skin. Her phone buzzed, and she groaned, expecting Nia's nosy ass with a lecture about running from Cade. But it was a text from an unknown number. Yo, it's Cade. Got your number from Nia. Don't hate me. You okay? Talia's heart did a stupid flip. This man don't quit, she said to the empty room, but her fingers were already typing. I'm fine. You're still a dumbass. Don't text me at 2 a.m. She hit send, then threw the phone like it was cursed. 2 seconds later, it buzzed again. Dumbass guilty. Let me make it up to you. Coffee tomorrow? No drunk kisses, promise. She laughed, loud and sharp, then clapped a hand over her mouth. Hell no, Talia, you ain't falling for this. But her thumbs betrayed her. 1 coffee. Fuck up and I'm blocking you. His reply was instant. Deal. Sweet dreams, badass. She buried her face in a pillow, screaming into it. What the hell was she doing? The next afternoon, Talia was back in her real-life jeans, a faded sizzle and spice tea, and a scowl as she scrubbed dishes in her cramped kitchen. The apartment smelled like lemon cleaner, and the faint sweetness of the peach cobbler she'd baked for Jamal's school bake sale. Sunlight streamed through the window, catching dust motes and the chipped paint on the walls. Her braids were tied back in a messy bun, and she was humming an old Mary J. Blige song, trying to shake Cade from her mind. Mom, what's this? Jamal's voice snapped her out of it. Her 7-year-old was standing by the trash can, holding up Cade's burnt cornbread like it was a science project. His gap-toothed grin was pure mischief, and his basketball jersey was 2 sizes too big, flapping as he waved the cornbread. Boy, put that down, Talia said, lunging for it. It's trash, Jamal. It's cool trash, he said, dodging her. Who made it? It looks like a rock. Hey. She snatched it from him, tossing it back in the can. Some fool who can't cook. Now go do your homework before I make you scrub these dishes. Jamal pouted but scampered to the living room, where his math workbook was spread across the coffee table. Talia sighed, her hands still soapy. She loved her kid more than life, but damn, he had a knack for asking questions she didn't want to answer. Like who the hell was Chnote guy? A knock at the door made her jump. She wiped her hands on a dish towel, muttering, Nia, if that's you with more bad ideas. But when she opened the door, there was Cade Morgan, looking like a fish out of water in her rundown apartment hallway. He was in a black Henley and jeans, holding a grocery bag in one hand and a basketball in the other. His hair was mussed, like he'd been running his hands through it, and his grin was equal parts cocky and nervous. "Yo, Talia," he said, leaning against the doorframe. "Coffee's cool, but I figured I owe you more than a latte after last night." She crossed her arms, blocking the doorway. "What the fuck, Cade? You stalking me now?" "Nah, Nia gave me your address," he said, holding up the bag. "Brought stuff to cook with you and the kid. Jamal, right? Figured I'd start fixing my dumbass rep." Talia's jaw dropped. "You got some nerve, rich boy. You think you can just show up at my house?" "Only if you let me," he said, his eyes softening. "Come on, Talia. Let me prove I'm not what Darius said." She wanted to slam the door, but Jamal's voice piped up from behind her. "Mom, who's that? Is that the rock bread guy?" Cade laughed, loud and warm, and Talia shot her son a glare. "Jamal, hush." She turned back to Cade, sizing him up. He looked sincere, and damn if that basketball wasn't a smart move. Jamal was obsessed with hoops. "Fine," she said, stepping aside. "But you burn my kitchen down, I'm suing your ass." "Fair," he said, stepping inside. The apartment felt smaller with him in it, his presence filling the space like he belonged there. "He don't belong here, Talia. Chill." Jamal bounced over, eyeing the basketball. "You play, mister?" "Call me Cade," he said, tossing the ball to Jamal, who caught it with a grin. "Yeah, I play. You any good?" "I'm the best," Jamal said, dribbling on the hardwood floor with a thud, thud, thud that made Talia wince. "Outside, y'all," she barked. "This ain't no gym." "One," Cade winked at her, following Jamal to the tiny living room. Talia grabbed the grocery bag, peeking inside cornmeal, eggs, butter, and a bag of peaches. "You trying to make cornbread again?" she called, raising an eyebrow. "Second time's the charm," he said, already helping Jamal set up a makeshift hoop with a laundry basket. "You in, Talia?" She snorted but joined them, the tension in her shoulders easing as Jamal's laughter filled the room. Cade was good with him, tossing the ball and cheering like they were at the NBA Finals. For a minute, she let herself imagine this could be normal, a guy who wasn't scared off by her kid, her life, her sharp edges. The kitchen was a war zone an hour later. Cade had insisted on making cornbread from scratch, claiming he'd watched a YouTube tutorial. Big mistake. Flour dusted the counter like snow. Eggshells crunched underfoot, and Cade's Henley was streaked with batter. Jamal was no help, giggling as he helped by dumping half a bag of cornmeal into the bowl, sending a cloud of it into the air. "Yo, we're like the Three Stooges," Cade said, coughing through the flour fog. His face was smudged white, making him look like a damn ghost. "More like the Three Disasters," Talia said, laughing so hard her sides hurt. She swiped a smear of batter off his cheek, then froze when his eyes locked on hers, warm and intense. "Oh, hell no." Jamal saved her, yelling, "Look, I'm a snowman." He shook his head, sending flour everywhere, and Talia tackled him, tickling until he squealed. Cade joined in, and soon all three were a giggling, flour-covered mess, the kitchen looking like a bakery explosion. Time out," Talia said, catching her breath. "Jamal, go wash up. You got homework." "Aw, Mom," he whined but obeyed, leaving her alone with Cade. She turned to the counter, stirring the batter to avoid his gaze. "You're a bad influence. You know that?" "Guilty," he said, stepping closer. His voice was low, teasing. "But you're smiling, so I'm doing something right." "Land." She glanced up, and damn, he was close enough to see the flecks of gold in his eyes, the way his lips curved like he knew her secrets. Her heart thudded, and she hated how much she wanted to close the gap. "Don't get cocky," she said, but her voice was softer than she meant. He reached past her for the mixing bowl, his arm brushing hers, and the air crackled. "Let me help," he said, but his eyes weren't on the batter. They were on her, hungry and searching. She swallowed, trying to keep it light. "You already fucked up once. Don't ruin my kitchen." "Too late," he said, grinning. He scooped a bit of batter on his finger and held it out. "Taste?" She raised an eyebrow, then leaned forward and licked it off, slow and deliberate, just to mess with him. His breath hitched, and she smirked. Needs sugar. Dumbass. Damn, Talia, he said, voice rough. You tryna kill me? Maybe, she said, turning back to the counter. But her hands were shaking, and she could feel his heat behind her, his presence like a magnet. They worked in silence, pouring the batter into a pan and sliding it into the oven. Jamal was still in his room, and the apartment felt too small, too charged. Cade leaned against the counter, watching her clean up. So, he said, breaking the quiet, what's the real reason you ran last night? She froze, a sponge dripping in her hand. You know why. Your boy Darius thinks I'm a gold-digging bitch. 16. Darius is an idiot, he said, stepping closer. I don't think that, Talia. Never did. Then why's he your friend? She snapped, turning to face him. You roll with people who look at me like I'm trash, Cade. That's your world, not mine. He flinched, but his eyes didn't waver. My world's fucked up, 8. I grew up with nothing, then got too much, too fast. Darius, he's been there since the broke days. He's wrong about you, and I told him to shut his damn mouth. Endo, she stared, searching his face for a lie. All she saw was raw, messy truth. You don't know me, she said, quieter now. Why you trying so hard? 'Cause I want to know you, he said, closing the distance. His hand hovered near her cheek, waiting for permission. You're real, Talia. Not like the fake-ass people I'm used to. You make me want to be better. Her breath caught. She wanted to push him away, to tell him to fuck off with his pretty words. But her body had other plans. She leaned in just a fraction, and that was all he needed. His lips crashed into hers, hot and desperate, tasting like flour and want. She kissed him back, hard, her hands gripping his shirt as he pressed her against the counter. The world melted away, the bills, the doubts, the fear. There was only Cade, his hands sliding to her waist, her fingers digging into his shoulders. The kiss deepened, a low groan rumbling in his throat as he lifted her onto the counter, her legs wrapping around him. Her braids fell loose, brushing his face, and he pulled back just enough to murmur, Fuck, Talia, you're gonna ruin me. Good, she whispered, pulling him back. Their mouths collided again, and his hands roamed, slipping under her shirt, his touch setting her skin on fire. She arched into him, the heat between them building until she was dizzy, lost in the feel of him, the need for him. Clothes hit the floor, her tea. His Henley, a tangle of fabric on the linoleum. His kisses trailed down her neck, her collarbone, and she gasped, her nails raking his back. It was messy, raw, and so damn right, like they'd been starving for this. They moved together, bodies pressed tight, the counter creaking under their weight, every touch a spark that burned away her walls. When it was over, they were breathless, tangled in each other, her forehead against his chest. The kitchen was a wreck, the oven timer beeping like an afterthought. Reality crashed back, and panic clawed at her throat. What the fuck did I just do? Cade, she said, pushing him away, her voice shaky. This was a mistake. His eyes widened, hurt flashing across his face. Talia, no, this wasn't. I can't do this. She cut him off, hopping off the counter and grabbing her shirt. I don't love you. I can't love you. He stood there, shirtless, looking like she'd punched him. Talia, I'm not asking you to love me. Not yet. I want you. All of you. The messy, real you. That's the problem, she said, tears burning her eyes. You don't get it. My life's a mess, Cade. I got a kid, a sick mama. No time for this shit. He stepped closer, voice soft. Let me help carry that mess, please. She shook her head, backing toward the door. Go, Cade. Just go. He hesitated, then grabbed his shirt and the basketball, his jaw tight. I'm not giving up, Talia, he said, pausing at the door. Not on you. He left, the door clicking shut behind him. Talia sank to the floor, her back against the counter, the smell of burnt cornbread filling the air. Her phone buzzed on the tabla note from Cade, slipped under the mixing bowl. I'll wait, no matter how many times you tell me to fuck off. She clutched the note, tears spilling over. She'd pushed him away, but damn if her heart didn't want him to keep fighting. Yo, y'all, that kitchen got hot. Talia and Kate are sparking, but she's running scared. Is she right to push him away, or should she give in to those feelings? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and hit subscribe to see if Cade can win her back. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next part of this Atlanta drama. Catch y'all in the next one. Talia Jackson woke up with a headache that felt like a jackhammer and a heart that felt worse. The kitchen counter was still a mess from last night's disaster flour dusting the floor, a half-burnt cornbread pan mocking her from the sink. She could still feel Cade's hands on her, his lips burning against hers, and the way she'd pushed him out the door like a damn coward. "Fuck my life," she muttered, dragging herself out of bed. Her braids were a frizzy mess, and her old tank top clung to her like regret. The apartment was quiet, Jamal already at school and Mama Marla at her morning doctor's appointment. Talia shuffled to the coffee maker, the hum of the city outside her window, a faint reminder that Atlanta didn't stop for her drama. She grabbed her phone, hoping for a text from Cade, something to prove last night wasn't a mistake. Nothing. Just a notification from Naya. "Girl, check TikTok now. Shit's wild." Talia's stomach dropped. She opened the app, and there it was. A video with 500,000 views, posted by @VanessaVibe, some influencer with 1 million followers. Vanessa was a tall, light-skinned chick with a face like a filter and a smirk like a snake. She lounged in a penthouse, sipping champagne, and said, "Y'all, when you find out your ex is slumming it with a broke-ass waitress who's only in it for the bag. Tragic. Stay classy, Atlanta." The caption read, "Number gold digger alert. Number Cade Morgan deserves better." Talia's blood ran cold. The comments were a dumpster fire. "She's just a server? LMAO, bye. Bet she's scamming him. Cade, blink twice if you need help." Her hands shook as she scrolled, each word slicing deeper. She wasn't named, but the video showed a blurry clip of her shoving Cade at Sizzle and Spice that first night, her face clear as day. "Motherfucker," she whispered, tears stinging her eyes. Her phone buzzed, Nia calling. She answered, voice tight. "What the fuck, Nia?" "Girl, I saw it at the salon," Nia said, her voice a mix of rage and worry. "This Vanessa bitch thinks she's queen of Atlanta, dragging you like that. You okay?" "No, I ain't okay," Talia snapped, pacing the kitchen. "Everybody's calling me a gold digger, and I didn't even want Cade's damn money. How'd she know about me?" "Probably saw you two at Soul Haven," Nia said. "She's Cade's ex, right? Jealous as hell. You gotta clap back, Talia." "And I ain't got time for internet bullshit," Talia said, but her chest was tight. "I got work in an hour, and Jamal's school keeps calling about fees. I can't deal with this." "Fuck work," Naya said. "Come to the salon. We'll figure this out. And call Cade. Bet he knows about his crazy ex." Talia hung up, her head spinning. She wanted to call Cade, to scream at him for dragging her into his messy world, but her pride wouldn't let her. Instead, she threw on her Sizzle and Spice uniform, the black skirt and blouse feeling like a straitjacket. She grabbed her purse and headed out, the Atlanta heat hitting her like a slap. Sizzle and Spice was busier than usual, the lunch crowd buzzing with suits and socialites. The air was thick with the sizzle of steaks and the clink of wine glasses, but Talia felt every eye on her as she bussed tables. Whispers followed her customers, glancing at their phones, then at her, their smirks cutting like knives. She kept her head down, her braids swinging as she moved, but her hands shook every time she cleared a plate. "Yo, Talia," Ronnie barked from the bar, his mustache twitching. "Office, now." She followed him to the back, her stomach knotting. Ronnie's office was a cluttered mess, papers stacked on a desk, a fan whirring in the corner, the smell of stale coffee hanging in the air. He shut the door, his face grim. "What's this TikTok bullshit? You got customers out there whispering about you and some rich guy." "It ain't my fault, Ronnie," she said, voice sharp. "Cade's ex is spreading lies. I didn't do shit." "Don't matter," he said, rubbing his temples. "This drama's bad for business. I gotta suspend you till it blows over." "Suspend me?" Talia's voice rose, her fists clenching. "I need this job, Ronnie. I got a kid, bills, my mama's sick. I know, he said softer now. But I got investors breathing down my neck. Take a week, Talia. Lay low. She stared at him, betrayal burning in her chest. You're supposed to have my back, Ronnie. I've been here 5 years. And I want you back, he said, meeting her eyes. But not with this circus following you. Talia stormed out, tears blurring her vision. She grabbed her purse from the locker room, ignoring the stares from her co-workers. Outside, the sun was brutal, reflecting off the asphalt like a spotlight on her shame. She leaned against the brick wall, pulling out her phone. The TikTok video was at 1 million views now, and Vanessa had posted a new one, a screenshot of a bank transfer of $5,000 from Cade to an account labeled Talia J. The caption read, "When you pay for loyalty but still get played. Number Cade, wake up." Talia's heart stopped. That was the check she'd ripped up. The one Cade tried to give Ronnie for the broken glasses. How the hell did Vanessa get this? Her hands shook as she dialed Nia, who picked up on the first ring. "Girl, I saw the new post," Nia said, her voice tight. "This bitch is next level petty. You at work?" "Just got suspended," Talia said, her voice breaking. "Nia, she's got a fake-ass bank transfer with my name. I never took Cade's money." "Fuck her," Nia said. "Come to the salon. We'll roast this chick together." "I can't," Talia said, wiping her eyes. "I gotta check on Mama. She's been feeling weak, and this'll kill her." "Then go to Cade," Nia said. "He's gotta know his ex is fucking with you." Talia hung up, her mind racing. She didn't want to see Cade, didn't want to admit how much last night had shaken her. But Nia was right. Vanessa was his mess, and he needed to clean it up. She pulled up his number, her thumb hovering over the call button, but pride stopped her. Instead, she headed to Mama Marla's place, the weight of the world on her shoulders. Marla's apartment was a few blocks away, a small unit in a brick building with peeling paint and a creaky elevator. The living room smelled like lavender candles and the chicken stew simmering on the stove. Marla was on the couch, her graying hair wrapped in a silk scarf, her face thinner than Talia liked. Diabetes had stolen her mama's curves, but not her fire. She looked up from her crossword puzzle, eyes narrowing. "Baby, what's wrong?" Marla said, setting the puzzle down. "You look like somebody stole your joy." Talia sank into the armchair, her uniform wrinkled and sweaty. "Everything's wrong, Mama. Got suspended from work cause of some internet drama. Cade's ex is calling me a gold digger, got fake proof I took his money. It's a mess." Marla's lips pursed, her gaze sharp. "That boy from last night? The one who turned my kitchen into a flower bomb?" "Yeah," Talia said, rubbing her temples. "I shouldn't have let him in. Now everybody thinks I'm some scheming bitch." Marla leaned forward, her voice firm. "Talia Jackson, you listen. You ain't nobody's schemer. You work your ass off for me and Jamal. If this boy's ex is starting shit, that's her shame, not yours. But you gotta stop running from what scares you." "I ain't running," Talia said, but her voice cracked. I can't trust him, Mama. Not after last night." Marla raised an eyebrow. "What happened last night?" Talia's face burned. She wasn't about to tell her mama about the counter, the kisses, the way Cade had made her feel alive for the first time in years. "We got close, too close. I pushed him away." Marla sighed, her eyes softening. "Baby, I know you're scared. After what Jamal's daddy did, I don't blame you. But you can't shut out every man 'cause one hurt you. If this Cade's worth it, talk to him. If he ain't, cut him loose. But don't let some jealous heifer ruin your peace." Talia nodded, tears spilling over. "I gotta protect Jamal, Mama. This drama's already too much." "Then protect him by being strong," Marla said, squeezing her hand. "Go handle your business, baby." Talia hugged her, the familiar scent of lavender grounding her. But as she left, her phone buzzed with a text from Jamal's school. "Parent meeting tomorrow. Unpaid fees." Her heart sank. She couldn't lose her job, couldn't let this drama touch her son. She needed answers, and Cade was the only one who had them. The sun was setting as Talia marched into Vibe Lounge, one of Cade's upscale bars downtown. The place was sleek black leather booths, neon lights spelling out "Vibe" on the wall, and a DJ spinning trap beats that rattled the floor. The air was thick with cologne, weed, and the clink of ice in cocktail glasses. Talia felt out of place in her wrinkled uniform, her braids loose and her eyes puffy from crying, but she didn't care. She spotted Cade behind the bar, pouring shots for a group of laughing frat boys, his sleeves rolled up and his jaw tight. "Cade!" she shouted, pushing through the crowd. Heads turned, but she kept her eyes on him. "We need to talk. Now." He looked up, surprise flashing across his face, then worry. "Talia? Shit, what's wrong?" He waved over a bartender to take his place and met her at the end of the bar, his hand hovering like he wanted to touch her but didn't dare. "Your ex, that's what's wrong," she said, shoving her phone in his face with Vanessa's TikTok open. "She's got the whole city thinking I'm a gold-digging bitch, posted a fake-ass bank transfer with my name. You tell her about me?" Cade's eyes widened, his jaw clenching as he watched the video. "Fuck no, I didn't tell her shit. Vanessa's been out of my life for months. This is low, even for her." "Then how'd she get that transfer?" Talia said, voice shaking. "It's the check you tried to give Ronnie, Cade. How she got my name?" "I don't know," he said, running a hand through his hair. "Maybe she saw us at Soul Haven or... Shit, I don't know, Talia. But I swear I didn't." "Save it." She cut him off, tears burning her eyes. "I got suspended from work 'cause of this. My kid's school's on my ass, my mama's stressed, and it's all 'cause I let you in. I should have known better." "Talia, please," he said, stepping closer. "Let me fix this. I'll talk to Vanessa, get her to take it down." "Too late," she said, backing away. "You rich folks play games with people like me, then walk away clean. I'm done, Cade." She turned to leave, but he grabbed her arm, gentle but desperate. "Talia, wait. I looked into you, okay? Before Soul Haven. Had a PI check your background." She froze, her heart plummeting. "You what?" He winced, letting go. "I got burned before 8. My last girl cleaned out my bank account. I just wanted to be sure you were real. But I didn't tell Vanessa nothing. I swear." Talia laughed, bitter and broken. "So you thought I was a scammer too, just like your boy Darius. Fuck you, Cade. Fuck you and your whole damn world." She stormed out, the music and lights blurring into a haze. Outside, the city was alive, cars honking, street vendors shouting, the neon glow of Atlanta painting the night. But Talia felt like she was drowning, her chest tight with betrayal. She'd let Cade in, let him see her, touch her, and he'd been digging into her life like she was a suspect. Her phone buzzed, Cade texting, "I'm sorry. I fucked up. Let me make it right." She blocked his number, tears streaming down her face as she headed for the bus stop. She was done with rich boys, done with dreams that ended in heartbreak. Back at Vibe Lounge, Cade slammed his fist on the bar, ignoring the stares from his staff. Vanessa's video played on his phone, her smug face taunting him. He scrolled through his email, heart racing, and found a hacked message from his PI with Talia's name, address, and job history, forwarded to Vanessa's account. "Motherfucker," he growled, realization hitting like a punch. Vanessa had gotten into his system, twisted everything to hurt Talia. He grabbed his keys, fury burning in his chest. Vanessa wanted a war. She'd get one. But first, he had to get Talia back, no matter what it took. He wasn't losing the one real thing he'd ever found. Yo, y'all, Vanessa just turned this drama up to 11. Talia's out here fighting for her life and Cade's got some explaining to do. Will he fix this mess, or is Talia done for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and hit subscribe to catch the next part of this Atlanta chaos. Turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of the heat. See y'all in the next one. Talia Jackson's life was a damn train wreck, and she was out of tracks. She stood in the back of Tasty Treats, a hole-in-the-wall bakery in Atlanta's west side, kneading dough like it owed her money. The air was thick with the sweet smell of cinnamon rolls and the tang of yeast, but it did nothing to calm the storm in her chest. Her braids were tucked under a hairnet, her apron dusted with flour, and her eyes burned from crying half the night. Suspended from sizzle and spice, bills piling up, and that TikTok drama with Vanessa's lying ass still blowing up her phone life was kicking her square in the teeth. She slammed the dough onto the counter, muttering, "Fuck you, Cade Morgan." His texts were still on her blocked list, but that didn't stop her from seeing his face every time she closed her eyes. Those hazel eyes, that stupid grin, the way he'd made her feel alive on her kitchen counter before she kicked him out. She'd been burned before, and Cade's background check bullshit proved he was just another rich boy who didn't trust her. So why did her heart ache like she'd lost something real? Her phone buzzed in her pocket, and she ignored it, focusing on the dough. Probably another bill collector or Jamal's school nagging about fees. But it buzzed again and again until she yanked it out, ready to cuss someone out. It was Nia, spamming her with texts. "Girl, turn on the television. Channel 5 News. Now." Followed by, "Cade's wildin' out." Talia's stomach flipped. She wiped her hands on her apron and darted to the bakery's break room, where a small television sat on a wobbly table. She flipped to Channel 5, and there he was, Cade Morgan, standing outside Soul Haven, his bar, looking like he hadn't slept in days. His hair was a mess, his button-up wrinkled, but his jaw was set, and his eyes burned with something fierce. A crowd of reporters shoved mics in his face, and behind him a banner read, "Fundraiser for Diabetes Care, Free Clinic Day." "What the fuck?" Talia whispered, sinking into a chair. The reporter's voice cut through. "Millionaire bar owner Cade Morgan is hosting a charity event at Soul Haven to raise funds for diabetes patients, inspired by, quote, someone special who showed me what family means." The camera zoomed in on Cade, his voice rough but steady. "Y'all, I fucked up. Big time. Someone out there got hurt 'cause of lies spread about Hurley's tied to me. She's the strongest, realest woman I know, and she don't deserve this. So I'm here, putting my money where my mouth is, to help folks like her mama, who's fighting diabetes every damn day." Talia's breath caught. He was talking about her, about Mama Marla. The crowd cheered, and Cade held up a hand, his eyes staring straight into the camera like he could see her. "Talia, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I'm fixing this, and I ain't stopping till you know I'm for real." The bakery's owner, Miss D, poked her head in, her gray curls bouncing. "Girl, that's the fool who burned your cornbread. He's fine and sweet. You better call him." "Miss D, hush," Talia said, but her lips twitched. Her phone buzzed again, Jamal this time, a voice memo. "Mom, Chinote guy's on television. He's cool. Can he come over again?" Talia groaned, rubbing her temples. Even her 7-year-old was Team Cade. She wanted to stay mad, to keep her walls up, but that fundraiser, that apology, it hit her hard. She grabbed her purse, telling Miss D, "I'm taking my break early. Go get your man, sugar," Miss D called, cackling. Soul Haven was packed when Talia arrived, the parking lot overflowing with cars and news vans. The bar's neon sign glowed against the dusk sky, and the air buzzed with energy music spilling out, people laughing, and volunteers handing out flyers for the free clinic. Inside, the place was a sea of bodies, the stage lit up with Nia spinning a soulful track, her box braids swinging as she hyped the crowd. The smell of fried wings and whiskey mixed with the warmth of string lights draped across the ceiling, giving the bar a cozy, chaotic vibe. Talia pushed through the crowd, her heart hammering. She wasn't here to forgive Cadno yet, but she needed to see him, to know if this was real or just another rich boy stunt. She spotted him near the stage, talking to a group of older women in church hats, his grin easy and genuine. He looked exhausted, dark circles under his eyes, but he was working the room like he was born for it, handing out water bottles and thanking donors. Naya caught her eye from the DJ booth and waved her over, shouting over the music. "Bitch, you made it. Your man's been a mess without you." "He ain't my man," Talia said, but her voice lacked bite. "What's all this?" Naya grinned, adjusting her headphones. "Cade's been planning this for days. Got doctors, nurses, free checkups for diabetes patients. Raised 50 grand already. All cause of you, girl. Talia's chest tightened. He didn't have to do this. Yeah, he did, Nia said softer now. He fucked up Talia, but he's trying. Go talk to him before I drag you myself. Before Talia could argue, the music cut off, and Cade's voice boomed through the speakers. He was on stage now, mic in hand, the crowd quieting. Yo, Atlanta, y'all showed up tonight. Cheers erupted, and he grinned, but his eyes scanned the room, searching. This event's for folks who fight everyday mamas, daddies, kids dealing with diabetes. But it's also for someone who taught me what real looks like. Talia Jackson, you out there? The crowd whooped, heads turning, and Talia froze, her face burning. Nia shoved her forward, hissing, "Go, dumbass!" Talia stumbled toward the stage, her sneakers squeaking on the sticky floor, her heart in her throat. Cade spotted her, and his face lit up like Christmas. He jumped off the stage, ignoring the crowd, and stopped in front of her, mic still in hand. "Talia," he said, voice raw. "I fucked up. Vanessa hacked my email, got that fake transfer, and spread lies about you. I got proof it was her, and I'm shutting it down. But more than that, I'm sorry I made you feel like you weren't enough. You're everything." The crowd went wild, but Talia barely heard them. Her eyes locked on his, searching for the lie, the catch. All she saw was Cade messy, honest, and hers, if she wanted him. "You did all this for me," she said, voice barely above a whisper. "For you, for your mama, for every family like yours," he said, stepping closer. "I ain't perfect, Talia. I got baggages hit, a whole cargo plane of it. But I'm here, and I'm yours if you'll have me." She swallowed, tears prickling her eyes. The crowd was chanting, "Kiss her, kiss her." And Nia was screaming, "Do it, girl." Talia laughed, shaky and real, and grabbed his shirt, pulling him close. "You're a dumbass, Cade Morgan." "Guilty," he said, grinning. Then he kissed her, soft at first, then deeper, his hands cupping her face like she was precious. The crowd roared, but it was just them, the world fading to the heat of his lips, the beat of her heart. When they pulled apart, Talia was breathless, her forehead against his. "This don't mean I forgive you," she said, but her smile betrayed her. "Gimme time," he said, his thumb brushing her cheek. "I'll earn it." They slipped into the back office of Soul Haven, the noise of the fundraiser muffled by the closed door. The room was small, a cluttered desk, a leather couch, and a neon sign flickering vibe on the wall. The air was warm, smelling of whiskey and Cade's cologne, and Talia's skin buzzed as he locked the door behind them. "You sure about this?" he said, his voice low, eyes searching hers. "I don't want to push you." "Dan." She stepped closer, her hands on his chest, feeling his heartbeat under her palms. "Shut up, Cade." She kissed him hard and hungry, pouring every ounce of fear, anger, and want into it. He groaned, his hands sliding to her waist, pulling her flush against him. The kiss was a spark, and they were gasoline, burning up the space between them. Her apron hit the floor, then his shirt buttons popping as she yanked it open. His skin was hot under her fingers, his muscles flexing as he lifted her onto the desk, papers scattering. "Fuck, Talia," he murmured against her neck, his kisses trailing fire down her throat. She arched into him, her nails digging into his shoulders, her body alive with need. They moved together, urgent and raw, every touch a promise, every gasp a confession. It wasn't just heat, it was trust, rebuilt in the press of their bodies, the rhythm of their breaths. When they reached the edge, Talia clung to him, her voice breaking as she whispered, "Damn, Cade, I love you." He froze, eyes wide, then kissed her, deep and desperate. "I love you too, Talia. Fuck, I've loved you since you punched me." She laughed, tears streaming down her face, and they held each other, breathless and tangled, the world outside forgotten. But reality crept back, and Talia pulled away, her voice shaky. "I'm scared, Cade. This shit's too big." "Nah, I know," he said, brushing a braid from her face. "But we're bigger. You and me, we got this." She nodded, leaning into his touch, but her heart was still racing. Love was a risk, and she'd lost too much to believe in fairy tales. They stepped back into the fundraiser, hand in hand, the crowd's cheers washing over them. Nia was on stage, hyping the crowd, but she froze when she saw them, then screamed, "Hell yeah, my girl's back!" The room erupted, and Talia laughed, hiding her face in Cade's shoulder. But the moment shattered when a familiar voice cut through the noise. "Cade, baby, you're making a scene." Vanessa stood by the bar, her gold dress clinging to her curves, her smirk sharp as a blade. The crowd hushed, phones already out, sensing drama. Talia's grip tightened on Cade's hand. "What the fuck is she doing here?" "Starting shit," Cade muttered, his jaw tight. He stepped forward, shielding Talia. "Vanessa, get out. You've done enough." Vanessa laughed, tossing her hair. "Oh, sweetie, I'm just getting started. You think this little charity stunt fixes everything? I've got more texts, emails, proof you're not the saint you're pretending to be." "One." Cade's face paled, but Talia stepped up, her voice low and dangerous. "Bitch, you come for him, you come for me. Try me." Vanessa's smirk faltered, but she recovered, blowing a kiss. "See you soon, lovebirds." She sauntered out, the crowd parting like she was royalty, leaving a trail of whispers. Talia turned to Cade, her eyes narrowing. "What she got on you?" He hesitated, then sighed. "Some old shit texts from when I was a mess. Maybe some legal stuff. But it's nothing, Talia. I'll handle it." "You better," she said, but her stomach twisted. Vanessa wasn't done, and whatever she had could ruin them both. Still, she squeezed his hand, her voice firm. "I'm not running this time, Cade. We fight this together." He nodded, pulling her close. "Together. Yo, y'all, that was a ride. Cade and Talia are back on, but Vanessa's out here with more drama. What's she got up her sleeve? And can our lovebirds handle it? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and hit subscribe to catch the final part of this Atlanta chaos. Turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of the heat. See y'all in the next one. Talia Jackson stood in the bathroom of Soul Haven, staring at her reflection in the smudged mirror. Her burgundy gown hugged her curves like it was painted on, the slit up her thigh showing just enough to make her feel like a damn queen. Her braids were swept into an elegant updo, courtesy of Nia's magic hands, and the gold hoops in her ears caught the light, but her stomach was a knot of nerves, and her hands shook as she touched up her lipstick. Tonight was the big gala, Atlanta's glitziest charity event, where Cade was launching his Diabetes Care Foundation, and Vanessa's snake ass was out there, ready to drop another bomb. "Girl, you look like Beyoncé at the Grammys," Nia burst in, her sequin jumpsuit sparkling under the fluorescent lights. She was holding a glass of champagne, her box braids swinging as she leaned against the sink. "You ready to slay this gala or what?" "Ready to throw hands if Vanessa tries me," Talia said, smirking, but her voice was tight. "She's got something on Cade, Nia. I can feel it." "Fuck her," Nia said, waving a hand. "You and Cade are solid now. She's just a bitter extrina, stay relevant. Now come on, your man's out there looking like a snack, and Jamal's ready to steal the show." Talia laughed, the tension easing a fraction. Jamal, her 7-year-old, was the gala's junior MC, a role Cade had insisted on to make him feel special. She took a deep breath, smoothing her dress, and followed Nia out into the chaos of the gala. The ballroom at the Grand Peachtree was dripping with money crystal chandeliers, gold-trimmed tables, and waiters weaving through the crowd with trays of shrimp and Prosecco. The air was thick with perfume, cigar smoke, and the hum of a live jazz band playing a silky cover of Anita Baker. Atlanta's elite were out in force. Politicians in tuxes, influencers snapping selfies, and old money types sipping bourbon like it was water. Talia felt like an imposter, but she held her head high, her heels clicking on the marble floor. Cade was by the stage, working the room with that easy charm that made her weak. His black tux fit like a glove, his hair slicked back, and his smile lit up the damn place. He caught her eye and froze, his grin turning soft and hungry. He excused himself from a group of donors and strode over, his gaze never leaving her. "Damn, Talia," he said, voice low as he took her hand. You trying to kill me in that dress? Keep it together, rich boy, she said, smirking, but her heart was racing. You clean up nice, though. He leaned in, his lips brushing her ear. Only 'cause I got you to impress. His hand settled on her waist, warm and steady, and for a moment, the world was just them. Then Jamal's voice boomed through the speakers, high-pitched and proud. Yo, everybody, it's me, Jamal Jackson, your junior MC. The crowd cheered, and Talia turned to see her son on stage, rocking a tiny tux and a grin that could melt ice. Welcome to the gala. My mom's here, and her boyfriend, Cade Morgan. The room erupted in laughter, and Talia hid her face in Cade's chest, groaning. Oh my God, this kid. Note guy, huh? Cade said, chuckling. I'm keeping that. Jamal kept going, undeterred. We're raising money for diabetes 'cause my grandma's a fighter and so's my mom. Let's give it up for them. The crowd roared, and Talia's eyes stung as she waved at her son, pride swelling in her chest. The night rolled on speeches, auctions, and a slideshow of patients who'd benefit from Cade's foundation. Talia mingled, her nerves fading as people thanked her for inspiring the event. Mama Marla was there, looking radiant in a navy dress, her health better than it had been in years. She pulled Talia aside, her eyes twinkling. Baby, that boy's a keeper. Don't let him go. Mama, chill, Talia said, but she smiled, glancing at Cade, who was laughing with Darius across the room. Darius had apologized for his gold-digger jab, and though Talia wasn't fully Team Darius yet, she saw he had Cade's back. Then the vibe shifted. A hush fell over the crowd, and Talia turned to see Vanessa strutting in, her gold gown shimmering like she was the main event. Her hair was a cascade of curls, her makeup flawless, but her smirk was pure venom. She held a tablet, and the screens around the room flickered, showing a grainy video of a car crash, screeching tires, shattered glass, and a younger Cade stumbling out, blood on his face. The crowd gasped, whispers rippling like wildfire. Vanessa's voice cut through, amplified by a mic she'd snatched from a waiter. Atlanta, let's talk about the real Cade Morgan. This man caused a DUI crash 10 years ago, nearly killed someone, and paid to make it disappear. And now he's playing saint with his little waitress girlfriend. Pathetic. Talia's heart stopped. She looked at Cade, his face pale, his fists clenched. The crowd was staring, phones out, recording the drama. She stepped toward him, but he held up a hand, his voice low. I got this, Talia. He took the stage, the spotlight harsh on his face. Vanessa's right about one thing, he said, his voice steady but raw. I fucked up 10 years ago. I was drunk, young, and stupid. I hit a car, hurt a man bad. I paid his medical bills, served community service, and I've been trying to make it right ever since. That's why I'm here tonight, 'cause I know what it's like to need a second chance. The crowd was silent, hanging on his words. He looked at Talia, his eyes soft. Talia Jackson gave me mine. She's the strongest, realest woman I know, raising her son, fighting for her mama, and calling me out when I'm a dumbass. She don't care about my money, never did. Vanessa's lies tried to break her, but she's still standing, and I'm standing with her. Talia's throat tightened, tears spilling over. The crowd started clapping, slow at first, then roaring. Vanessa's smirk faltered, her tablet slipping in her hand. Naya, from the DJ booth, shouted, "That's my girl," and cranked a triumphant track, the bass shaking the room. Cade jumped off the stage, ignoring Vanessa, and pulled Talia into his arms. I'm sorry I didn't tell you, he said, his voice muffled in her hair. I was scared you'd run. You're an idiot, she said, laughing through her tears. But you're my idiot. Vanessa stormed out, her heels clicking like gunshots, and the crowd parted, their phones still recording. Talia didn't care. She had Cade, and he had her, and that was enough. The gala wound down, the jazz band playing a slow jam as couples hit the dance floor. Talia and Cade swayed in a corner, her head on his chest, his arms tight around her. The room was a blur of lights and laughter, but it was just them, the world falling away. You good? he asked, his voice soft. Better than good, she said, looking up at him. You did all this for me, Cade. For Mama, for Jamal. I don't even know how to thank you. Don't thank me, he said, his eyes intense. Just stay with me. She smiled, her heart full. You're stuck with me, rich boy. He grinned, then stepped back, dropping to one knee. Talia froze, her breath catching as he pulled a small velvet box from his pocket. The crowd hushed, sensing something big, and Nia cut the music, her voice echoing. Oh shit, y'all, it's happening. Talia Jackson, Cade said, his voice shaking but clear. You're the baddest, toughest, most beautiful mess I've ever met. You make me want to be better, every damn day. I fucked up 1,000,000 times, but I'm done running from what's real. Will you marry me? The room held its breath. Talia's eyes were wide, tears streaming down her face. She looked at Jamal, bouncing with excitement by the stage, and Mama Marla, nodding with a proud smile. Then she looked at Cade, his face open, vulnerable, and hers. You're a dumbass, she said, laughing through her sobs. But hell yeah, I'll marry you. None. The crowd erupted, cheers and whistles shaking the chandeliers. Cade slid a simple diamond ring onto her finger, then stood, kissing her like the world was ending. It was messy, salty with tears, and perfect. Jamal ran over, hugging their legs, shouting, "Ch! Note Guy's gonna be my dad." And the room laughed, Nia leading a chant of, "Chnote Guy, Chnote Guy." 1 year later, Talia stood behind the counter of Talia's Treats, her bakery in Atlanta's Sweet Auburn district. The place was small, but hers neon sign glowing, walls painted with murals of peaches and jazz legends, and the air thick with the smell of cinnamon rolls and peach cobbler. The grand opening was packed, friends and family spilling onto the sidewalk, music blasting from a speaker Nia had set up. Talia's ring sparkled under the lights, her braids loose and her smile wide. Cade was by her side, in a Talia's Treats apron that looked ridiculous on his broad frame, handing out samples like he was born for it. Jamal, now 8, was showing off his new basketball to a group of kids, calling Cade Dad, like it was the easiest thing in the world. Mama Marla, healthier than ever, was chatting with customers, her laughter warm and full. Yo, Mrs. Morgan, Cade said, sneaking up behind Talia and wrapping his arms around her. You happy? She leaned into him, her heart full. Hella happy, Chnote Guy. He laughed, kissing her neck. Good, 'cause you're stuck with me. Nia strutted over, her DJ gear slung over her shoulder. Y'all too cute, it's gross. But real talk, Talia, this place is fire. And Cade, you ain't half bad. High praise, Cade said, grinning. Darius joined them, a glass of whiskey in hand, his Rolex glinting. Congrats, y'all. Talia, sorry I was a dick before. You're family now. Send. Damn right, Talia said, bumping his fist. The bakery was alive, laughter, music, the clink of glasses raised in toasts. Outside, Atlanta's skyline twinkled, the city that had broken them and built them back stronger. Talia looked at her family, Cade, Jamal, Mama Marla, Nia, even Darius-san felt something settle in her chest. Love wasn't perfect, wasn't easy, but it was worth every fight, every tear, every burnt cornbread. She'd found her person, and they'd built something real, one messy day at a time. Yo, y'all, what a way to wrap this up. Talia and Cade went from hot mess to happily ever after, but was it worth all the drama? Drop your thoughts in the comments, favorite moment, who you loved, who you wanted to slap. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next Atlanta love story. Thanks for riding with us. See y'all in the next one.